Hello everyone, this is HSKSK here, back with some more StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm 1v1 action! This time, it's going to be between one of my favorite players of all time, and I don't say that for very many players, because Jaedong I will always hold a special place for in my heart. He could become a professional breakdancer, he could become a professional karaoke singer, I wouldn't care. I would still root for him no matter what he does in his life. Of course, it is Jaedong, representing Team EG up in the top right side as the Red Zerg, and his opponent up in the top left side, showing us such an awesome game last game that I figured, you know what? I got to give him some more love. It is going to be Stardust up in the left top, whatever side it is, he's over here, okay? It's the blue Protoss, a PvZ. And I may be stuttering on my words a lot, and that is totally fine because the map is Habitation Station. And you may be saying, Husky, why does that mean you can stutter on your words? Because I love this map. And you may be saying, Husky, that doesn't matter. And I'll be saying, you're right, that's true. The reason I love this map, though, you guys know why. You already know why. This high-yield expansion right here is in a spot that it's so easy to secure. It's so tempting. It's like the low-hanging fruit. But it's the low-hanging fruit with a scorpion on it, where, you know, there's like a 12% chance that you're going to get stung to death, but at the same time, it's like a delicious peach that you just want to eat so badly. Actually, if you have a 12% chance of dying when you want to eat a peach, probably just go ahead and throw the peach away. But a terrible example, but you guys get what I'm saying. Now, also what I'm saying is Stardust going to be going for a gateway first here, transitioning into getting the gas right after. And this is something that we're seeing Protoss players do quite a bit. We've seen it more on this map as well, because a Protoss player, what they can do is throw a gateway here, throw a Cybernetic score is usually actually right here with the Zealot blocking this off. Pretty standard stuff there. But what is not as standard on any other map, but is becoming standard-ish on this map, is getting the high-yield expansion with the fact that you can start to wall this in, and then as soon as you move out over here, throw a Nexus, and then immediately begin walling in this ramp. You can hold the high ground, do some pretty sick timing attacks. Maybe I'm getting too far ahead of myself. We'll see if that actually happens or not. But we do have the spawning pool going to be coming up here for Jaedong. We do have the extractor now completed, so they get to gobble up their delicious gas. I still wonder what Vespian gas tastes like. I know that you can't, like, chew it because it's a gas, but still, you could taste it. You could taste it because they put it in their little mandibles. But right now, just like the Zealot is going to be on the way. Probe right there with the awesome brightly colored mohawk there, because again, this version of the map does brighten colors, so it's easier to see what's going on. You can definitely tell on Zerg as well, which looks pretty cool there. But the Zealot going to be holding the front line right now. Probe actually... Oh, wait, looks like he is actually going to be going for the expansion. I was going to say, send that probe out there. If he's not throwing down an expansion, it is silly to do that, because the Zerg is going to be well aware of exactly what's going on. And there he goes. He's going to start walling this in. This is such a powerful build on this map. Now, what you can do is any sort of two-base timing that you want, or you can just macro up and secure your third and be in a wonderful spot, because look at this. Jaedong is forced to get his natural. Now, when it's a two-base Zerg versus a two-base Protoss, that's already bad enough for the Zerg. When it's a two-base Zerg versus a one blue base, one gold base for Protoss, it becomes nearly impossible to stop whatever attack is going to be headed your way. So Jaedong is going to have to make something and make it fast. Now, right now, he's actually going to be going beast mode. He's not going to try and win with a huge swell of lings. He's actually just going to try and go macro to macro, dust to dust, or I thought he was. Well, he was, and then I guess he changed his mind right when I was getting really excited about it. But the Mothership Core right there, you can see, is basically attempting to kind of zone out that area and slightly messes that up, as the drone is going to be able to throw down that expansion. However, Stardust is going to see the exact timing of this. He knows when he needs to move out to be able to kill this off, and Jaedong also knows that the attack will be headed his way relatively soon. Lings up here are going to be intercepting a couple of probes as they try and transfer down. Robotics facility on the way, getting scouted out almost immediately. So this is one of those builds where Jaedong knows like 9 times out of 10 exactly what's headed his way. Let's talk about this just for a moment. There's a build that Protoss have been doing on and off for several years, and recently they've been doing it quite a lot as well. Another probe actually goes down. This is going to be delaying his economy quite a bit. More lings are on the way. This is why having lots of lings right now would actually just kind of ruin this build. I don't think he's going to be able to kill off too many probes here. Oh, I don't know. He does have more lings running up here, but the photon overcharge should be able to scare this away. Probes plus photon overcharge plus Mothership Core equals a lot of dead lings. But anyways, Jaedong knows what's headed his way. It's most likely going to be a two-base Sentry Immortal timing. We've seen this again and again throughout the years, like I've said. It did kind of fall out of prevalence for a while, but on a map like this, it is... Oh, Oh, drone, what are you doing over there? That's not the side of town you want to be. I keep thinking this is a pop-up ad. I like want to close it every time. Although to be fair, Intel Extreme Masters, you deserve to be plastered all over this game because you put on such awesome tournaments. And seriously, their production is sick. If you haven't watched an IEM, you are missing out, and you should put it on your calendar. Definitely put it on your calendar. I don't even know if you need to put the right date on there. Just put watch IEM. Oh, Stardust trying to keep secret exactly what he's doing here. He's actually going to be throwing down the gateways down in the bottom center. He's hoping that he can take Jaedong by surprise, because if Jaedong sends in an Overseer or some Lings, he's not going to see the exact amount of units that are on the way. He sees the Immortal, he sees the Sentries, but he doesn't know the exact gateway count. Now, he can kind of infer that it's going to be lots of units, but he doesn't necessarily know how many gateways are going to be powering this, so pretty crazy stuff right there. It does look like the Lings here would be in a good spot to scout this if they ran to the south, but instead decided to run back to the north, and I think that Zergling might actually get taken out. Yep, he's Zergling Pie. I would eat Zergling Pie. That sounds like it'd be pretty good. But here comes the attack right now. Keeping this pylon alive is helpful, but given the map is not absolutely necessary, as there's already going to be pylons relatively close here. And this is exactly what Jaedong does not want to happen, is wondering where are all the gateways at. Does he know how big this army is actually going to be, or is he going to underestimate it? Well, right now it doesn't really matter because it's knocking at his front door, so he's just going to be making all attacking units here. He's got Lings, he's got Roaches, but guess what? Stardust has force field. He's going to be locking that down. This base is as good as dead. If Jaedong cannot get up this ramp, he's never going to be able to build enough resources or reinforcements up there, but it does look like the units actually slipping through. The Sentries sleeping on the job. All of a sudden, Jaedong able to at least do a little bit of damage, or the Immortals are just going to rake in the kills because that's what they do best. More units could be warping in here, but either way, Jaedong catching a slight break, being able to break through those force fields. He's killing out Zealot after Zealot right now, and the Overseer there, well, he's overseeing his own death if he hangs out for too much longer. But those 4 gateways down the bottom center now definitely starting to kick in here as the Roach there trying to escape. I don't think that's going to be happening. Nope, not today, as the hatchery does go down. So like I was saying before, it is now 2 base Protoss with a high yield expansion versus 2 base Zerg. This is not a good time to beat Jaedong here. He is going to be able to cut off the pylon there, so a slight victory. That actually does supply block Stardust. He has 4 more on the way, but the onslaught is going to be held up just momentarily. The base down here still not having been scouted, as we do have the Zealots, Stalkers not really anywhere to be found, and the Immortals, though, they're ready to go. They're actually inside the War Prism. The Immortals and War Prisms are actually quite terrifying, so you can use them to focus down individual Roaches. You can also use them to focus down the Queens if there's no reinforcements in a pretty good spot. What is in a good spot, though, are these Lings trying to force more reinforcements to warp in. That's exactly what's going to be happening right now as he tries to move the Lings back. Not going to be able to get that robotics just yet, but if he can kill that robotics, then the painful units stop being produced. There's no observers, there's no War Prisms, and there's no Immortals, which War Prisms are already proving to be quite annoying. We'll see if Jaedong can move up that ramp to take that out, but for now, he needs to take a 3rd base somewhere. That's why he's expanding down to the bottom right side, or center right side, I should say. The robotics does go down instantly, though, before more reinforcements can actually be made there. The Roaches here just going to town, warping in Zealot here to try and hold this up, but basically the Immortals have got to get into a good spot. That's what they did, which is why they held it off. 13 kills on that Immortal, 15 kills on the other Immortal, and the Zealot Sentry here might get caught a little bit out of position. Not quite sure what Stardust was thinking here. He is going to lose some of these units. March report needs some mass recall. Where's the recall? He needs to get out of there. He does manage to. I think he did lose a Sentry there right before it does recall, though, so either way, a big victory for Jaedong, although still not doing great on the supply for Jaedong. Resources lost overall is definitely got to be favoring Stardust here, but if he cannot keep that robotics alive, then that's really going to hurt his build, because there's no Colossus, there's no more Immortals, there's no more Observers to keep an eye on exactly what's going on. So Jaedong here doesn't have the greatest upgrades, but at the same time, he's got enough Roaches to run right up here. He very well could go for the robotics again. If he delays that once again, that's going to be enough time for him to get back in this game. I think he is going to get it. There's just nothing here to be able to hold up. The Immortal trying to do his best, but it's just 1 or 2 Immortals. That's not enough to save the robotics here. And Stardust throwing it down again. It might be better to throw it inside the main base, as the Stalkers here are able to prevent any sort of run-by or changeling action. However, the Sentries there literally throwing it down at the very last second. Burrow is done! Burrow is done, and without the robotics, there's no Observer on the field. Well, there's one, but he's completely out of position. He's patrolling back and forth between these 3 bases, which is actually kind of cool. But at the same time, it might almost die there if he's not careful. But these Roaches will actually be able to survive. I don't know if they're going to be able to burrow away with their claws, but nope, just decides to unburrow. Only loses 1 Roach for his efforts. And Jaedong is back in this. I thought he was out of it for sure, but delaying the robotics twice, 3 times, that is exactly what he needed. Now he can start getting Hydras. Now he's able to be a step, well, it's not a step ahead and it's not a step behind. It's like a side-by-side step. Now he's transitioning into Hydras, which are going to be good versus the Immortals, Zealots, Sentry, Stalker, all of that. But it also gives Stardust an opportunity now to go for Colossus, because he does have that robotics up and running now. I think he will have to kill off a pylon to be able to get out of his own base right here, which is not too uncommon because this base is so important. But it only has about half resources, a little bit less than half resources right now, about a third resources on some of these patches. So he is going to have to expand to his own natural relatively soon, and I would say it's got to be sooner rather than later, unless he wants to do an all-in attack, which is exactly what he's looking to do right now. He is rallying the troops, like I said previously. I think that was a different cast, but either way, rallying said troops. He does have cannons back here for defense, hopefully protect that robotics. But he may be kind of going all in here. We'll see if it actually ends up working out or not. He's basically deciding, do I go all in, try and punish that 4th base, or do I try and play catch-up where I basically make a loss? Sorry, that just made me think of ketchup, and now I really want french fries. But either way, he's got to decide, when do I throw down my expansion? He decides that now is the time, as it just drops, but it is so far away from actually being done, as we do have lots of Lings going to be moving on out. Roach is ready to go, but the Hydralisks are the ones that are going to spell disaster for Stardust. Stardust needs to get out Colossus. He can't really afford to. I don't think he realizes how many Hydras are actually here, but a huge concave from Jaedong. Maybe enough here to actually crush this. Now he's going to be attacking from the right side. Our force field's enough to buy Stardust any amount of time. Right now the answer is no, as the Hydras are showing up. We'll keep an eye on those resources lost, so it's about even. But if the Hydras remain, the Hydras can literally kill off everything that this army has to offer. And Stardust, though, actually managing to make something out of nothing, and is actually going to go ahead and push on out. He's got to be careful, because the Hydras, they basically have machine guns. Blizzard is thinking of buffing the Hydralisks, and if they do that, they're going to be even more devastating. But right now, they're still pretty good versus gateway units. You got to get Colossus. You got to get something that can deal with that Hydra DPS. And right now, he just does not have the answer here. Stardust, unfortunately, doesn't even have his 3rd base until the 16, almost 17-minute mark. And he needed that by now to go ahead and be able to produce those things like Colossus or Psy Storms, or really transition out of this. Because the thing is that Jaedong, he's going to be content going Roach Hydra as long as Stardust does not have Colossus or Storm. I mean, what does Protoss have that's better than Colossus or Storm versus Hydralisk? Not a whole lot. Archons do okay, but they still melt away rather quickly if they're completely undefended. So Stardust here, though, trying to muster up as large of an army as he possibly can, and so far, it is a terrifying army. I don't think it's enough to actually kill off Jaedong, though. It's going to take more than that, that's for sure, especially now that Jaedong has a +2 attack. Jaedong has found his stride, and in all honesty, Jaedong is kind of known for winning games that he was originally behind in. This is something that he was very well known for in Brood War, but I wouldn't say he was too far behind in this game, but still, he's now for sure caught back up, maybe even a little bit ahead here. The supply, though, for Stardust is super strong. He just needs to get Colossus. That's really all there is to it. You need to start getting Colossus, force Jaedong to go for Corruptors, then you can transition back into Mass Blink Stalkers if you want to, or Void Rays, but either way, just Gateway units and Immortals, not usually the way to go. We'll see if they pay off right here, though, as Roaches don't stand a chance, but it's not really the Roaches I'm worried about. It's going to be those Hydras. Lings have breached the outer defenses. That Zell right there had one job, and lets the Lings in there. That's not that many Lings, so he should be absolutely fine. But it's still a nuisance, especially if they kill off any amount of probes, which they currently are. I think the probes will have to turn around and just attack this at some point. It does look like more and more probes are going to be falling here a surprising amount before they finally catch wind of what's going on. They finally took off their little blindfolds and were like, oh, no, we should definitely deal with this. But Jaedong is able to get away with Roach Hydra, and this is one of those situations where you can definitely learn a lot from this game as Zerg. It's kind of like Terran versus Protoss, where Terran has to get Ghosts once you have High Templar, has to get Vikings once you have Colossus. It's the same thing with Zerg, where they have to switch out of what they're doing as soon as they spot something different out of Protoss. But we haven't seen something different out of Protoss, and I don't think that's going to be changing anytime soon because the money is just not there. These gateways are getting taken out, so if he has to replace those, I hope he had a good mortgage rate because he's going to have to be buying a new home. As this, I want to call it an expansion, but the hidden gateways there eventually do get taken out. We do have a Brood Ling over here, which is just adding insult to injury. But I gotta say, Stardust is actually just trying to muster up as many units as he can. He's gonna have to rely on Blink right now, which you know, it's a good upgrade to rely on. It's very, very powerful, very potent. But at the same time, with no Colossus and no Psy Storm, it's just not looking great. The one stalker up here is apparently going completely unchecked. He could easily blink down if he wanted to. He decides not to. Force field's coming up. That is going to be delaying the mining. You can see the drones right here not really able to get to those juicy mineral patches. But at the same time, there's only like 8 drones here. So having that force field there, not really delaying it all that much. He would love to delay it more if possible, though, because he's currently behind in the macro. However, he does have 182 supply, and a Protoss maxed out army should never be underestimated because it will have a surprising amount of HP. He's just got to be careful not to fall into this trap, which currently it looks like it is going to be a trap. Jaedong, though, actually is going to be retreating and recouping his forces, and he eventually could try and swing around to get a sandwich attack right here, but Stardust playing it very passive, very timid. He knows he doesn't have the big units, but he may have a army size advantage. But the Fungals are the absolute perfect time, and the choke point, the trap has been sprung. Jaedong was waiting for him. The force fields here are going to buy a ridiculous amount of time, but is it going to be enough? Time is money, but money doesn't necessarily win you StarCraft games. So at this point, it comes down to the force fields. How long are they going to last? Because the concaves from Jaedong are absolutely out of control. The infestors here are getting lots of damage laid out onto those stalkers, as Fungal is quite nice, but at the same time, Stardust saying, Fungal, are you serious? Do you realize how many stalkers I have? So he might actually be able to kill off one of these bases. Not sure if it's going to be enough to get back in the game, but either way, he's able to do lots of damage to Jaedong's army. He's got to watch out, though. Drones actually pulled off the line as well. They're going to be attacking from the north, Hydras from the south, but Stardust completely backed into a corner. But Jaedong, if he holds on to this base, he can afford to reproduce some of these units lost. Whereas Stardust, not so much. 22 minutes into this game, I think Stardust will eventually have to tap out, although they are both super low on supply, so I really shouldn't count it out either way. Why is Stardust showing us such awesome games? Sure, he's been behind for a while, but he's still managing to do quite a bit versus a player of Jaedong's caliber. Well, it's Jaedong, so of course he's Jaedong's caliber. But either way, the Roach is moving out, and we'll see if they can continue to pressure right now, or if this one mining base is going to be enough for him to get a full recovery, because Jaedong, remember, has this base right here. Not a lot of workers mining there, but he also has a base down here and his high yield expansion. Worker count is overall low, 26 workers only, and the Stalkers seek to make that even more of a deficit. Workers killed overall 44 to 16. But if Stardust cannot deal with this army, it will do a surprising amount of damage. I don't think it can make it up the ramp, as the cannons here are in a pretty good spot. Pretty tough to break that. Can't really make it into the natural as well. And I gotta say, Protoss players, you can learn a lot from this game as Protoss as well. On how to wall off your expansions, how to defend the expansions, and how to force your opponent to rage quit, which I don't think Jaedong's going to be rage quitting anything. He just needs to sit back, stay collected, make some more drones, apparently make Vipers as well. Keep calm and make Vipers is apparently the Jaedong mantra, as he does have those on the way, and the Infestors as well, always a nice touch. And we have been seeing Infestor play once again a lot more. They did get nerfed a while ago, so players were kind of sad about that. Felt like it didn't really have a role in the matchup, but Jaedong showing us that they obviously do. Everyone kind of mesmerized by this bug zapper. This bug zapper Zelnaga Tower, as all the Zergians were sitting there staring at it. But we do have the Overseer, going to see what's going on. But really, I mean, what benefit is that? I mean, sure, he's going to be seeing a Dark Shrine, but he probably already has a Overseer, I would imagine. Another one somewhere. No, just the one. Oh, he is morphing in one right now, as he just started that, realizing that the Dark Shrine could be a threat. So I guess the scouting did go ahead and pay off. He just has to make sure that DTs do not begin taking him by surprise. Spying Charge right there seeks to disrupt that as well. And the Observer goes down. Nice little pickup here for Jaedong. So I gotta say, Jaedong definitely in the lead, but Stardust has already shown us resiliency. And even though he didn't do the best in the last game, by that I mean he didn't win, he still was able to do a crazy awesome game. If you didn't see that game, I know I just spoiled it, but seriously, it's a really, really good game. And it does look like Jaedong, though, with all the Infestors, he's got all the Spines here for defense, up to 5 now. And he's just making sure that Dark Templar don't give him any hard times, as it does look like the Dark Templar looking to do that is all by his lonesome. Is there any detection over here? Well, he has the 3 Spine Crawlers. We'll see if an Overseer can get over there or not. No, there is an Overseer right there. The bright colors are confusing my eyes, as he is obviously right there, clear as day, which the Dark Templar unfortunately didn't see him in time, and he gets poked in the face. That's what we call a poker face, guys. Ba-doom! I should do stand-up. StarCraft stand-up. But we do have Roaches, Hydras now. They are still only at 2-1, which, considering we're 26 minutes into a game, is surprisingly low. As Protoss, though, is only at 2 attack overall on those upgrades. So a very interesting game here so far, as Force Field's coming up, trying to catch those units by surprise. Unfortunately, it's the Fungals that are catching Stardust by surprise. One Viper goes down. blinding cloud comes down. Not that it's really playing that vital of a role, but either way, it's still fun to watch as we don't get to see it utilized a whole lot. That's what the green goo is, the green cloud. But the fungals right here. Now, the thing is that killing these units, it's not really about killing the stalkers. It's more about sending a message, but also about killing the sentries. There's going to be pulling over the warp. That's not a warp prism. We're just going to call it a warp prism. This is another core. And there's the fungals on the sentries. These are the units that right now Stardust, that's the only thing keeping him in this game. If he loses that sentry ball, which he will, this game is over. Jaedong is going to force a GG right here. I can feel it as those sentries were absolutely vital in buying time. And Jaedong, I thought for sure he was going to lose. I can't believe this game started with a two-base timing attack. There's the GG. Stardust unable to defeat Jaedong the Dong. Raise your dongers as Jaedong able to show us an awesome game. And Jaedong, never count him out until he literally has no units left over, because he can still beat the best of the best. So good old Jaedong, very, very good in Brood War, very good obviously here in StarCraft 2. Either way, a lot of fun. Hopefully my audio is fixed. I do apologize I apologize on behalf of XSplit for ruining my big batch of videos, and there's really no way for me to know because everything was working just fine. So, you know what? The past is in the past, and we are looking forward to some more StarCraft 2. Hope you guys enjoy, and of course, I'll see you guys next time.